Hey, what is up, mortals? It is Trina Duhart here with a new video for you. Welcome to part 2 of season 2 of What If Uraraka Was an Electromaster. I just wanted to greet you guys by just saying, sit back and relax, you're in for a treat. So we begin. A few minutes had passed and the sisters had switched back into their respective clothing.
I'm aware that most of my run at the Balloon Hunter game was rather disappointing. Being paralyzed by fear made it so I didn't contribute until the last corner. I acknowledge my own mistakes, and for that, I apologize, big sister. I was unable to be your replacement.
Jen admitted. It was true that she won in the end, but it took way too long for her to wake up to her call to action.
But did you have fun?
Ochako then asked.
Yeah. After I kicked away my fear and started to do what I wanted, I had a lot of fun. Before that, though, I wasn't. Those memories of cold, empty voids still linger. I was at Shigaraki cost for so long.
10,032 said somberly. She wanted to lock those shards away. Ochako pulled her little sister and hugged her tightly. She knew how hard it must have been to feel that way.
There. He will never lay a hand on any of you ever again.
Afterward, a loud roar was heard from beneath, making Jensani fluster. Indeed, the fast-paced action had made her quite hungry.
So, wanna go get something to eat?
Uraraka asked her little sister.
Of course I do. But what about your upcoming match?
10,032 quickly pointed out. She didn't want her older sister to forfeit because of her.
Oh shoot, you're right.
Leave it to your class president, both girls heard from behind them. Yaoyorozu had arrived just in time.
But you also have a match coming up, Momo.
Jen immediately said. Yet again the same problem arose. That is correct. I do have an upcoming bout, but unlike Ochako, mine will not be occurring until way later. I'm the 7th match out of the first 8. While you were changing, all the matches were announced by our sensei. You'll be going the 3rd, Uraraka. Motioning towards the oldest Uraraka, Momo made it clear that she had to beat someone up.
Against who?
Nailgun asked. Katsuki Bakugo.
No chance in hell that I'll let him off the hook this time. And even less after you tried to hurt my little sister.
A flame had sparked from within the Electromaster, and now she was fired up to kick the Explosion Maniac's ass. And that's the reason why I'll be taking little Jen here out to eat. This way, you both get what you desire, and we all win. Yaoyorozu added while getting closer to her friend.
If that's the case, then take my card. I'll pay wherever you two want.
Pulling out her credit card, Ochako tried to hand it over, but the class president refused. There will be no need. Don't underestimate the Yaoyorozu prestige. Pulling out her own, she showed it off, the black and gold card shining in an unnatural fashion. And so, Momo took Jensani out to eat at the stands in front of the sports festival stadium. As this was happening, Shokuho looked down at the fighting arena. Soon her prince would be facing off against Class 1B's Monoma. She'd awaited this moment greatly, but soon she received a call. What is it you want now? Don't you see that I'm in a school activity at the moment?
He requests for you to pull out of there. You are needed elsewhere, mental out.
Garaki said coldly. It had been an order. You do realize that I could refuse, correct? I'm under no obligation to follow his every command anymore. Shokuho pointed out in annoyance.
On the contrary, mental out, you are still under his care, and so is Exterior now.
But that's impossible! Exterior cannot be—
Found? Because if that's what you were going to say, then you couldn't be more wrong. My master knows about everything, and eventually he will be able to obtain anything he seeks. As for your loyal maintenance workers, they have been disposed of.
An evil cackle escaped the older man. This can't be happening! Not knowing when they found it is a problem. His registration could be days away or have already happened. I need to execute its self-destruct protocol immediately. Misaki was in deep thought now, and she knew that she needed to act correctly because otherwise, Japan and perhaps the rest of the world would suffer due to her past mistakes.
Silence, eh? Planning out a way to go against him? I suggest that you reconsider because Exterior isn't the only card that we have to play. You recognize the name Midori Kozdaku, right?
But she's dead! Deceased! Midori is caught! Now quite out of her usual character, Shokuho screamed into her phone. There was no way that Garaki's words were true.
Are you sure about that? If you see the captures I'm sending, then I'm certain you'll reconsider.
A few seconds after saying that, many pictures had arrived on Misaki's phone. Utter terror is all that could be expressed after seeing them all. In them, a skeletal girl with purple hair resided within a closed small square living space. The poor thing hadn't seen anything outside those 4 walls in so long, as she probably had forgotten that there was a world outside her prison. Shokuho immediately hung up the call and got her bag back for midnight. She couldn't leave these things for later. She needed to deal with these problems right now. But before leaving, she looked back at the arena where the first fight was about to begin. And with a saddened look, she decided to keep moving forward. Forgive me, Izuku, but I won't be able to see your match. Perhaps next time. Misaki held her whistle necklace tightly as she kept going. It was her responsibility to end it. Due to being unable to stop for even a second, Mental Out played out an old recording. To prevent situations like this one, she recorded all available sponsor messages with her voice and saved them on the cloud. And so, she allowed one of them to play out for the video.
Honey is a free browser add-on available in Google, Opera, Firefox, Safari. If it's a browser, it has Honey. Honey automatically saves you money when you check out on sites like Amazon, Papa John's, and Kohl's. Wherever you shop, it's a good chance that Honey can save you money. All you have to do when you're checking out at these stores is to click that little orange button and it will scan the entire internet and find discount codes for you. If there is a coupon code, they will find it. And if there's not a coupon code, you can rest assured that you're getting the best price possible. If you install Honey right now, you can save $50 to $100 on your shopping, doing nothing. There's literally no reason not to install Honey. It takes 2 clicks, 10 million people use it, 100,000 5-star reviews. Unless you hate money, you should install Honey.
Candy apples and cotton candy! I want some of those too!
While pointing forward, Jen kept dragging Momo around the many food stands. I know that I should stop her, but I can't bring myself to do so. Momo knew that she was spoiling the little one way too much, but maybe this wasn't such a bad thing. This kept on for a while until Momo went on to buy some yakisoba while Jinsani stayed at a bench eating her many new delicacies.
This katsudon is so good! I want more!
Her appetite was ferocious, and if anything, it had become stronger with every dish she swallowed. But soon, the young sister became distracted by a weird technological wonder nearby.
Is that a robo-dog? If I tame it, I can call it cat!
And just like that, Jen placed her trash away and began trailing the canine bot. What the curious girl didn't know was that someone was manually controlling this robot and seeing through its eyes. Baba Yoshio, a hacker and expert in robotics and information gathering, had been deployed to capture the closest sister that Ochako Uraraka had. His mission was to kidnap and bring her to the rendezvous point where another member would take her away to the man on top. If he were to succeed, he had a chance of securing a spot amongst those who controlled society, and this minuscule chance justified his actions. Good. Follow type Great Dane, you naive child. Soon I'll get you right where I want you. Through a virtual headset, he was controlling the very path that his tool would take, and thanks to it, the direction that the clueless Electromaster would follow. A few minutes later, Yaoyorozu returned to the bench, and upon not seeing Jinsani, she quickly tried calling her, but she didn't pick up. She wouldn't move from this spot after being told to remain in place. So does that mean that she was taken? Frantically looking everywhere nearby, the Class 1A president couldn't seem to find her friend anywhere. I should call Ochako to tell her about... But a thunderous noise was heard from deep within the forest, which grabbed Momo's attention. That must be her! Hold on, Jen! Back at the arena, Izuku had defeated Monoma and claimed the first round for himself. Next up would be Todoroki versus Ida. Most of the students were still in the waiting room, including Uraraka, who was very impatient to get this over with. But right as Todoroki and Ida were called out, Aizawa and a woman entered the room in search of Railgun.
What are you doing here?
The now triggered teen screamed. That's no way to treat your mother, Ochako. Should it be a surprise to see your dear old mama? Mrs. Uraraka spoke with a tinge of superiority. Her lifestyle had made her reach such a point.
A surprise indeed! A big fucking one!
Aizawa was forced to erase Ochako's quirk because she was ready to kill her own flesh and blood. Thanks for the assistance, Mr. Eraserhead, but I believe that would be for the best if I were given some private space to converse with my daughter. The hero obliged and soon took the rest of his students off the room. Now was only mother and daughter in there.
Now explain why you're here! Is it that you want more money? Did your filthy consciousness finally realize that you have a daughter? What is it, huh? Are you here to mess with me? Answer me!
Railgun was doing her best to contain her pent-up rage, but it kept slipping out. None of those, dear. I'm here to take you with me. The older woman had cut to the chase.
Oh, so now you want me again? After all these years, you just randomly change your mind and want me back in your life. No! I'm not going back with you. I have a life now. Friends, and even a little.
Ochako couldn't care less about revealing it all to this female incubator, but unexpectedly her mother interrupted her. A little sister? That Jinsani, or whatever you call her, is no sister of yours and even less my daughter. She's just another one of those mass-produced lab clones, so wake up from that fantasy world of yours. You can't keep playing make-believe all of your life. In that instant, sizzling filled the room, and only the light source from Uraraka's rampant electricity remained.
So you knew. All this time you knew about my sisters and you...
Of course I was aware of it all, sweetie. I was one of its investors. With every single one that perished, we received residuals from the group. But once it mysteriously halted, those disappeared. And I'm sure you were responsible for that happening. So to be able to resume them, I need you out of Japan. So that's why I'm taking you today. Our flight leaves at 5. Even as her daughter's power flowed violently throughout the room, Mrs. Uraraka seemed unfazed. It truly was taking every ounce of willpower for Ochako to hold herself. Everything that the shitty woman had said only pushed her closer to the edge.
Get out! Never want to see that face of yours ever again! My mother died long ago, and you're just using her skin as a flesh suit! Leave! The only reason you're still alive is because of who you were! So get the fuck out of my sight!
By now, everything around them had begun to break apart. And if this bitch didn't leave soon, then it was only a matter of time until Uraraka blew up. Very well. If that's your take, then I'll be forced to leave you behind. Love you, Ochako. And with that, Mrs. Uraraka departed the room, leaving the broken girl on the floor.
Fuck you.
With tears now visible, Ochako muttered under her breath. This betrayal had shattered her. In the forest, a fight had ensued between 10,032 and many type Great Danes. Yoshio Baba had also made his way there to mock her. It was true that the robotic dogs couldn't land a hit on her, but her weak electric strikes weren't strong enough to damage them significantly. It was an actual standstill. Regardless of this momentary setback, Baba had another trick up his sleeve, so he used it and was successful. With the help of his type mosquito, he injected the sister with a potent drug that left her unconscious within mere seconds. Now with her taken out, he was able to place her on top of a type Great Dane, and it took her deeper into the forest. But as the wide guy let out a yawn, he was pushed aside by one of his robot companions because otherwise, he would have died to the steel cannonballs that had been shot toward him. Looking back, he saw that a vast amount of the foliage behind him had been blown away.
What the hell?
He cried out as he tried to recompose himself. The remaining type Great Danes tried to protect their master as a tall girl approached him. Yayorozu left her cannons behind and quickly made a call to the Class 1A group chat. I'm in urgent need of assistance. A villain has kidnapped Uraraka's younger sister, and I'm currently engaged in combat. My location is being shared, so please send backup. Before anything else could be said, her phone was slapped away by one of the canines and it cracked on the floor. Momo was somewhat annoyed by this, but she couldn't stop. With her staff, she fought off the Danes bravely, but soon enough, she fell to the tight mosquito, who had used its last dose to incapacitate the rich girl. Even then, she still tried crawling away toward the direction that Gensani was taken.
You can still move, eh? Not bad. My little nanomachine has taken away control of your body, so give it up already.
He began walking over to her downed body as the remaining Danes kept watch. I can't let you take Gensani. Even if it's the last thing I do, I'll... Momo was doing her very best to remain awake, but even she knew that this wouldn't last for much longer.
A snotty rich girl caring for somebody else? You can drop the act. Nobody's watching.
It's not an act! She's my friend. Somebody like you would never understand. But a kick to her face made her stop.
Shut the hell up, you Yayorozu brat!
Another kick was delivered to the girl's head.
Your kind is almost as rotten as the Enmako, so don't you dare talk down to me!
Blood splashed against the grass as more hard kicks were thrown out.
And look at you now, totally useless. In the end, you couldn't manage to change a thing. Garbage like you belongs in the trash, so I'll leave you right here.
With those harsh words, he began taking his leave, but a sudden shout took hold of his attention. Momo! A ginger girl screamed and took the beaten-up girl in her arms to check if she was okay. Did you do this? She then shouted at the fat guy.
So what if I did? Why does it matter what happens to some trash?
You, Kendo exclaimed. She was livid.
And all for a little girl that doesn't belong. Those who care about others are second-rate, and those who can't keep their word are worse than a third-rate. And then there's her! You should have seen her crawling around like a true shit stain.
Itsuka Kendo had been triggered, and she was about to lunge at the guy. But two students arrived in front of her. Jiro Kiyoka and Shoto Todoroki were now here.
Kendo, we're sorry for being late, but could you take our class president to the infirmary?
The boy's breath was cold, and the air around him was freezing. But if we don't hurry, all of Yamomo's efforts would have been wasted. Earphone Jack clenched her fist as her heartbeat became more intense, and we too cannot hold back her anger. when our friend has been insulted. They were ready to take out the guy in front of them. The vice president of Class 1A, alongside Yayarozu's consultant, had teamed up to save Uraraka's little sister. It had been quite weird when Todoroki forfeited the match when he was about to win, but Ochako didn't pay much attention to that. She was instead stuck in her mind thinking about everything that her mother had said.
My own mother funded the very experiments that got over 10,000 of my sisters killed. And even now, she wants more of them to die so that she can get more checks sent her way. How did it come to this? For everything to be so messed up.
But a barely audible cry for help snapped her out of her trance, so Ochako went to check on who it was. Everything transformed into a static blur for the Electromaster as she saw Kendo carrying a bloodied-up Yayarozu. Her face was almost unrecognizable. Her electricity quickly picked up on a metallic object in her shoulder, so she picked it up. It was a mechanical mosquito. Nailgun had now entered her unstable mode.
Tell me what happened!
She ordered her tired friend while Recovery Girl took Momo away. Yayarozu sent your classmates a group call, where she explained that your little sister had been taken. Jiro quickly reacted and told me, so I went ahead while she went over to try to rally up more of Class 1A to help. By the time we arrived to help, she was beaten down, and your sister was gone. Todoroki and Jiro stayed behind to fight the one responsible.
My sister is on the same day that Mom comes to.
Electricity violently shot out from Uraraka, and Kendo was forced to jump back to not get hit.
Where?
Nailgun demanded an answer. In the forest behind the stadium, the scared girl responded with her hands up. She felt like she could be killed if she were to say something wrong. Ochako stormed out the infirmary, and at that moment, Class 1B's big sister collapsed on her knees. That had been way too close for comfort.
Where do you think you're going?
The annoying Chili Pepper shouted as he saw Uraraka about to exit the hall.
Out of my way!
The beyond pissed-off girl growled.
As if! First you sent your sister to do your dirty work, and now you try to run away?
He had now gotten in front of her, making Ochako stop.
I'm not letting you go this time! The last time we fought, the stupid gauntlet failed me. But this time, I'll beat your ass and teach you that you belong under my boot.
Looking down, she noticed his gloved right hand, the one left permanently scarred after the explosion. This same weakling was now impeding her path. Bolts of electricity flowed out of her, and clear lines of destruction could be seen wherever they had made contact. And then came a creepy head tilt. Uraraka had lost it.
Unless you're prepared to kill me to stop me. Get out of my way.
This was her final warning. The cocky blonde didn't care as he tried to attack her, but two nails found themselves shot at his knees.
Ugh!
Bakugo cried out as two more nail guns were shot at his shoulders, and then she rapid-fired 4 more into his gut. A kick to the face sent him to the concrete floor beneath, and then she stepped on the 4 nails on his gut, digging them deeper into his insides. Another nail was then shot at his head, but this one missed on purpose. It was a message to not mess with her unless he wanted to die here and now. Now defeated, he lost consciousness, and the round-faced demon escaped her enclosure. The fight had concluded, and now the 2 students from 1A were chasing the robotic K9. Soon enough, they reached a driveway where they saw their target getting inside a gray van. Todoroki tried to stop it with an ice wall, but a hooded individual burned it away with a sea of blue flames.
Until next time, Shoto Todoroki.
The mysterious man exclaimed as he got away with the girl.
No!
Shoto shouted, but he was forced to get out of there alongside Jiro. If he hadn't, he would have been consumed by the cerulean inferno.
We failed,
Jiro muttered as she looked down. Her weakness had made them fail.
It's not over yet. We still have a prisoner. There's a chance that he can give us their location.
The half-and-half boy pointed out. The guy from before was still trapped in the ice. This gave hope to Kyoka, and they started heading back to the massive ice wall that Shoto had left behind. Before they arrived there, though, a loud crash was heard, and the ice structure exploded into pieces that rained all over the forest. This display of power stunned the duo, but they kept going until they reached their destination. There and then, their classmate Ochako Uraraka stood over Yoshio Baba, who was scared shitless on the grassy terrain.
Another sister and this one's out for blood? I still have one type mosquito, so it's time to use it!
In desperation, he tried to release it from his watch, but as he moved his right hand, it got erased. A swat from Uraraka's electricity had eliminated it from existence.
My arm! Ah!
His blood-curdling scream was heard all over as he held up the new end of his stubby arm. Nailgun got tired of his screams, so she grabbed him by the head and suspended him in the air, shocking him until he shut up. By then, smoke was coming out of him.
Where did you take my sister?
In a creepy tone, Uraraka asked. But even though it was a question, it didn't feel like it. In reality, it was a threat.
I don't know. I was supposed to deliver her, and that was it. They didn't tell me what happens after that.
In tears, he answered, hoping that the executioner would believe him.
Liar!
To Railgun, he was clearly lying, hiding away secrets. Even a scumbag like him would have some honor not to sell it as friends, right? And with this reasoning, she upped the voltage and intensified the current running through her. His eyes popped, and his hair burst into flames. The screams had by now become background noise.
Where's my sister?
The livid girl screamed for the last time. After this, there wouldn't be a next time. The fried boy was left to fall. His final words were not what she needed. I don't know. As he concluded, a nail perforated his skull, killing him instantly.
Then you're of no more use to me.
Uraraka told no one in particular, and with her power, she retrieved the used-up nail from the corpse's head. Thank you all for indulging yourselves in all this information thus far. I hope you enjoyed it. Now there are a few more things I'd like to go over before the video ends. If you're in the mood for some great storytelling, We the Celestials has you covered. Our We the Celestials, My Hero Academia, and Naruto What If channels retell the story of the namesake anime with a twist. Check it out if you're interested. Now on behalf of We the Celestials, I'd like to thank everyone involved in today's excellent content production. Their details can be found in the description below. Lastly, if you're interested in what we do here at We the Celestials, I'd like to extend an invitation to join the team. The only caveat is that we only accept members from 16 years old to join our crew. You can sign up for whichever category feels your interest by joining the crew in Discord using the link in the description below. We're always looking for members to join us. Well, that's it from us for today's video, so thank you all for watching and have a great day. Jinsani groaned as she tried to get up. The intensity of the brightness around her hurt her sensitive eyes.
Look, Doc, she's awake.
The mysterious man beside her commented.
And she seems ready to die.
He then added. This scared Jen, and she tried to run away, but she could not get off her restraints. She was cuffed to her hospital bed.
Specimen number 10,032, is it? You're still kicking. Hold her up twice. The procedure's about to begin.
The evil doctor commanded, and his lackey quickly pinned her down. The girl's screams soon engulfed the entire facility, yet nobody could hear her. Once more, an experiment had commenced.